So one of the things I remember you talking about last year is all the stuff that that you want to see your quarterback do in terms of not just on the field, like body language and in the room stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things I've heard is that Ferguson has really done a good job with that kind of stuff. Is that a fair? Talk about that a little bit. Talk about why that's important to you.
Yeah.
And
Tyler Ferguson is 19 years old, and this is his first time really this far away from home, and you think about him. The fact that he came to Penn State without ever having seen Penn State, threw his stuff in a suitcase and came out here 3,000 miles away from home. So with all that being said, and then all the things that were thrown at him in the classroom, academically, and then obviously in the football arena, as far as X's and O's, I believe he's done a good job. But he's a young guy, and he can always get better. He'd be the first one to tell you that. But yeah, it's, football, playing quarterback in football now is a very difficult deal. You've got to not only know your own system, your own teammates on offense, you have to understand what's going on defensively and how formations and personnel groupings affect the defense. So there's a lot of studying to do, and a lot of it has to be done on your own. And that's where, people always say to us, boy, you did a great job coaching Matt McGloin. Well, Matt McGloin did a lot of that on his own. He studied hard. He worked extra hard at it. He had a fantastic summer. He made a lot of progress during these months, May, June, July. I would see him out there all the time. Not allowed to watch him, but I would see him walking out there to throw or going into the film room on his own. And, we're hoping that our young quarterbacks can do the same thing.
Is Brady is it fair to say that you're always trying to find, he's sort of like your permanent role model for that in a sense?
That's in some ways, yeah. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Clearly, just a fantastic player who has a very quick mind. But we're not always looking for in college. We're not always looking for the 6'5" guy that can throw the ball a country mile. We want the best quarterback that throws the ball accurately, that has athleticism, that is smart, that is a good kid, that's been a leader, that's won some games, that's won some games in high school or junior college, and makes good decisions with the ball. So maybe the skill set, that's not necessarily the role model, but certainly all the things that he did behind the scenes is certainly a role model.
Coach, it's important for you to find a quarterback early and make that number one guy. Last year it was like in early June at the golf outing, you sort of said, okay, it's McGloin, and he made that progress even further for you. But the previous coaching staff might have had two quarterbacks for a while. Might have let it go. Where it seems like you want a clear-cut number one, so he gets the reps and everybody knows who the leader is.
Yeah, I have no idea what the previous coaching staff did. I know what I believe in, and that was that last year I felt like Matt was way ahead on everything. And so I felt like it was important for him to be named the starting quarterback. He was a fifth-year senior. He played a lot of football, and he had really spent a lot of time trying to win that job. This year's a little bit different, and every year is different. This year, it's whoever the quarterback is will be somebody that's playing college football for the first time, Division I college football for the first time. So we won't name a starter in June. If you had to pin me down, I'd probably tell you that Tyler would be a little bit ahead of Christian going into the summer, just because he's been here, 15 practices and all the meetings and everything. But we're going to let Christian compete for it. But yeah, I do believe in naming a starter. This year it'll be a little bit later than it was last year. I don't like to hem and haw. I like to make decisions that are thought out, but I don't think you can be wishy-washy about it. When it's time to make a decision, you got to make it.
Offensively, you've got a marquee guy at just about every position, at least somebody that you can rely on. How much does that change the threshold of what you need the quarterback to be able to do by the time the season gets around here? Is it different because they're more experienced?
The fact that everybody's not new is a good thing. Like if this was last year and you had a freshman quarterback playing last year with a bunch of guys that were just learning the system for the first time, it'd be very, very difficult. So the fact that we're a year into the system and we've got a lot of veteran players that played for us last year that produced and played well, I think that helps a young quarterback. And But again, we've got to do a great job. I'm almost, talking to myself here, of being patient with a young quarterback and making sure that, look, the guy's going to make mistakes, and we've got to minimize those by the play calls and how we manage the game.
And let's say that you're 2 weeks out from the season, you haven't picked a quarterback, but they're both about the same where they are. Is there a certain checklist that's smaller or larger based on the fact that these guys are more experienced? I mean, the difference between what you needed Matt McGloin to be able to do versus what you need Christian Hackenberg or Tyler Ferguson to do.
There's certainly a checklist, that you're going to look at and evaluate every day. You're going to look at the film is what you're going to base it off of, but also like different intangible type things, what's going on in the meeting room, me just having a gut feeling about how this guy's going to perform in front of a big crowd, things like that. So, but there's definitely somewhat of a checklist that involves the knowledge of the fact that there's a lot of veteran players around this guy, what can he do and things like that. So, yeah, no question about it.